एक
So
सेकंड है, मैं जस्ट एक देख रहा हूँ मेरा ब्राउजर से.
sure, no problem. Let me know when you're through and we can, start on that.
Yeah.
I'll pause that recording again then. Please give me a minute.
Explain something, like just give real-time example. So say for example, agile development and XP Scrum and pair. So
Sure,
where
sure.
exactly we use, and how do we use, like in which like in
Context.
project, like how do we use something like that?
Sure, definitely, no problem.
Thank you.
So yeah, so just to revisit quickly what we did in last class, we were trying to understand what are the different certificates available by PMI first. So we have PMP, that's a flagship certificate, then CAPM, which is kind of overall associate project manager. Then we have program management professional. We have portfolio management professional. Then we have Agile practitioner, Agile Scrum Master, Agile certified practitioners. Then we have different Agile Scrum Master, Agile coach, Agile value stream consultant. We've tried to understand the overall differences between them also. We also try to understand business analyst professional certification from PMI. Then now we are venturing into knowledge area wise certification, like with PMI also started working on something like a risk management professional certified, then certified scheduling professional, cost management professional, and so on and so forth. We'll not go into the depth of those things because those are really elementary type of certification. If you want to concentrate your career on specific knowledge area, then you can go for it. But if you are PMI, it understood that you have all those knowledge area, and you are certified for working with all these 10 knowledge area about PMI supports. Then we also talk about something like PMI, project management ready certification. This is the most most nascent certification which PMI has. This I have introduced in last couple of years only. These are specifically for undergrads, grads, so that they can start working on towards the management cadre of the thing. Okay, now let's start to go deep into project management. Let's try to understand what does project means, right? So when we talk about project, we talk about something like a project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. Let's try to understand what is a project, because this is the most crucial part. Unless and until you understand project, unless and until you know what project is normally referred by these industry, will be in a kind of difficulty to understand the knowledge area, the different phases, different templates, different policies and procedures attached to it, right? So let's try to understand this thing. Very small simple example, simple definition. A project is a temporary endeavor. Let's try to understand one by one. So what is a temporary endeavor? It has a start and a finish, clearly defined start and a finish. It's a temporary. It can be get extended if the finish is taking some longer time. It can be crushed. That's how they they pronounce they put it in that word. Crushing is what you can say, speeding up or expediting. That's what they mean. But over and all, project is a temporary endeavor. Endeavor is basically whatever you try to do. We refer it as a काम in Hindi, right? एक छोटा काम करना है मेरे को. So एक काम is a project. One work, or rather one unit work or group of unit works is a project. Then undertaken to create unique product. Why unique? Because whenever you think of something like manufacturing, right, you try to replicate the product, but in project we try to create unique product. So each time if you're trying to create a unique product or a service or a result, then it's a project. Otherwise it's a manufacturing, right? So we're trying to understand how this project is defined, how we're going to manage that project, because unless and until you know, you can't go into controlling and managing that thing, right? So let's try to understand project. So whenever I say I'm in a manufacturing organizations of let's say creating pen, I'm manufacturing pen or pencil for that matters. So whenever I go into that hub, we are trying to create replicated product. We are trying to multiply the product with the production with similar and similar result rather than a unique product. So that's not a project, that's a manufacturing. We are talking about a unique product. So whenever I'm trying to create, let's say, one art, I'm trying to draw, let's say, Himalayas with my pen and pencil. I gone there and keep drawing. That's a project, because I'm trying to create a unique product, service, or result. That's a unique result, right? When you try to draw something. So arts art are normally a project. Artwork is normally a project. Movies are normally a project because they try to create unique value, right? Even movie porting in different language is a project because we are trying to create a unique value, right? It's not, it's repetition, but there is a unique value coming out of it, right? So that's a project what we are talking about. Does that make sense? Could you understand what I'm trying to say here? Any confusion?
Good.
Okay, great. Ditya
Yeah,
ji?
I'm good. Thanks.
Okay, great. Sure. So, that's what we talk about. Then, apart from this project, normally even PMI have certain additions to this. So we have something called product and service as well, right? We'll try to understand these three things today: project, product, and service. Because industry-wise, these are three different things. For PMI, when you say project management, it encompasses product management and service management as well. As in theoretical, practically these three are independent things, and we'll try to understand why we say independent, because these three create unique results, unique product, unique service, right? So these three are distinct in realization. So we try to understand, or we try to align ourselves how the management will differ for these three, and we'll try to go into depth for project, and then we'll try to understand how project management we can manage, we can control, what are the knowledge area, and so on and so forth. And then we'll, in the meantime, we'll also try to understand if it's a product management, what are the different things we do. If it's a service management, what are the different type things we do. I believe we know what you mean by SDLC, right? Software Development Life Cycle.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. Vijayji, have you, do you know?
Yes.
Okay, we'll revise it. Don't worry. I have asked right now because if you can understand SDLC differentiation for a product, service, and project, you could, learn these things very easily. If not, we'll go into depth. Means, please, feel free to share your concerns, or if there are any confusion, and I can go into depth. So it's not a problem to go into detail. But if you can really what you can say know it, then I'll not keep repeating it. Okay, so let's go. Let's try to understand. Again, a project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result, right? Even in definition, they have created three different entities: product, service, and a result. Normally, result is a solution we are talking about. Product is basically a product like artwork. Service is basically I'm trying to serve somebody. It's like I'm trying to help somebody. Having a support desk, having a voice support is also a project, because it creates a unique value. It's trying to support certain communities and a certain group of people in a unique way, because the questions might be repetitive internally, but overall the support which I'm trying to give is a unique for a group, a community, region, or domain, or something like that. So that's why we normally categorize it as a project. Then a result is a solution. Let's say I'm doing a project for an insurance company, enhancing attendance management system. That's a project because that will create a unique solution for the client for enhancing their attendance management system. I can add something like barcode, ID scanner, body scanner, camera with drone and all. So I can do all such things. But the solution as a whole is a unique for a given region, company, or the domain. So that can be defined as a project, or that can be categorized as a project. Does that make sense? Any confusion?
No.
Great. Could you give me any example of a project from your thought process?
So basically, can I go with it?
Yeah, please. Feel free to join in. Please
I'm
don't.
sorry. Who is the other person?
Vijayji.
Yeah,
Vijayji.
Vijay.
Vijayji, is it okay? I can go.
Yeah, sure.
So basically, project means there should be some outcome.
Right.
For example, if we want to implement something, so
Mhm.
there should be some planning, and within a time that we have to complete that planning and execution. So that's what I understand about the project. So
Perfect.
we have to do planning. We have to do our self analysis, that what exactly we need to do for completion of this project, and
Right.
The last thing is that how long this project will do. We have to accomplish the task, and
Right.
means tenure. So this is a temporary project. Am I
Temporary
correct?
endeavor, temporary work to do
Yeah.
for a given, defined time. That's right. You are correct in that scenario.
So it has a start and an end, right? To it.
Right. Yeah. So how can give you Diptesh? How can you give example of a project?
So okay, let me give you an example.
Uh,
As you said, like there is a manufacturing unit. Okay, so in one day, this is just for temporary project. So if one day, if they if you have given a task that in one day you have to manufacture 25,000 pens,
Great.
so this is your project. So
Perfect. Perfect.
you have to complete in a day that I need to make a productivity like that, so I
Mhm.
can manufacture 25,000 pen. If you make it more than 25,000, there is a great achievement that you have done. So there will be
You
a,
have
there is a
exceeded
perfect
the,
education.
you have exceeded the expectation. You have created more business value. We will see what you mean by business value and all. That's
Correct. And
that's
if you
Can I?
if you manufacture below 25,000, then yeah, it's below your expectation. Then should be there should be some improvement. That's what I
correct.
understand.
Perfect, perfect. And it's not face and fail or pass. We are talking about. We are talking about a benchmark. That's all a project has. That's a good point. You bought it, and we'll see what you mean by business creation. We'll see what you mean by exceeded expectation and all those work, because it makes to define this project clearly and crisply. Yes, please go ahead. Richaji, do you want to say something?
Yes, yes. Can I give you a live example of project?
Please, great.
Uh, so live example of the project would be you are planning to go out on a holiday. That is a project for you.
Yes, holiday
For
trip or
this,
project. Perfect.
what will you do? You'll analyze thing how you are gonna reach there. What would be the commuting mode? Who all will go with you? What would
Right,
be the budget for this holiday? How are you going to who will do what?
right.
So
Wow.
this is a project. This is a live
Right.
example
Okay.
which you
That's a
all
good
have
one.
done in
So
previous.
basically, let me explain you. So as per that project, last year I have visited British Columbia. That is like 5,000 kilometers from away from here. So I
Uh-huh.
made entire planning. Like I make an Excel sheet.
Uh-huh.
It is relevant with this project. So if you allow me, then I can speak for 2 or 3 minutes.
Sure, sure. Go ahead, please.
Okay. So basically, it's a Rocky Mountain excursion.
Mhm.
Um, we have I made a plan 3 months ago, 4 months ago, that on so and so date we have to visit. We
Uh-huh.
were two families and 8 members. All of them were adult, and none of them were kids. So we have planned accordingly that these are the we have to find, first of all we find the season. So like in Canada and US, that temperature is changing every day, so we have to check weather, and according to weather, then we have to decide. So first planning was weather. So which clothes do we need? First of all we have to decide that one. Second thing is that where do we stay? So this is the second thing. How do we go? That is the third things that Richaji told us, that how do we go, like
Logistical
via air,
arrangement.
via air, or via railway, or via uh, or by
Drive.
car, or by car.
Drive.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
by car. Yes, or by drive. So this is the commute. The fourth planning was that what food we eat, and because those was the remote area, so we have planned that how do we, in case of like this is a like in the project also this kind of situation happened. If you could not find anything, what would be the plan B? If you could not find food, because we are going in a remote area, we are going in a forest area, so we sometimes we cannot find a food. So what is our alternate solution? So we bought a like a flower cooking pot. So we take with us, and then we try to cook in the on that on that bowl, actually cooking bowl. So this is the planning we have done. Also, the duration was like 10 days. So uh, how do we visit each day? So my planning was that like that we don't have to waste our time. What is our wake up time? What is our sleep time? And so we don't want to miss any point. So that way we plan, and our plan was very successful. We could not we could not find any difficulty except one, that one day there was a rainfall, and then entire day we could not come out, but still we enjoyed. Yeah.
Right.
So it happens because of the
Yeah.
weather.
These are what we call unforeseen risk materializing in front of you. We will look at those things also.
All right.
And what you've done, you basically planned the whole thing via all 10 knowledge area, and we'll learn these things. And please write this somewhere so that we can discuss this in next time also, so that we can try to understand the theoretical concept of knowledge area, and we'll relate it with the example, right? So please jot down this summary somewhere so that we can take it as an example even during the knowledge area discussions. Yes, Vijayji, do you want to say something?
So
Yes.
basically,
No, I'm good.
so basically, sorry to interrupt you. What this planning is called? This is called defining a project. What it does it call?
It's a planning a project. Defining a project is basically you're trying to define objective, right? The unique result what you are talking about, that's the defining of a project. You normally, when you say you define an objective, I want to go on a trip to Rocky Mountain. That's my objective. That's my definition of a project. That's my definition of a temporary endeavor what we are talking about.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So planning
And
is a kind
one
of
thing-
area. Even
one
resource
thing-
management is a, sorry, please go ahead, ma'am.
Sorry. One thing
No,
I
no,
just want to.
no, that's
This is
no.
planning. Is planning what we do before going for a holiday. Now, what you have described is what you have done your holiday, and now you are analyzing your thing. Whatever have you done during your holiday. So that in Scrum we call it as a retrospective. We are analyzing what we have done, how it was, whether it was good, whether it was bad, what all things could be there which we need to take care in the next holidays. These all things comes under the retrospective. This is what, like, this is a meeting of retrospective Scrum, but this is what you have right now explained.
Yeah, Scrum retrospective comes under knowledge archival, knowledge area. So whenever we archive our learning for the best practices for the next, project, right? That's what the overall, knowledge archival comes under that category. But yes, you are right. But this was, he was discussing more about planning and how he did it, right? So it's like just before the planning, it's like precursor and a project. So there are certain stages or phases which we're going to discuss, and then we'll map these phases to different project and different times of execution also. So that's why I say the SDLC, right? We say something called innovation, something like inception, something like designing, something like development or construction. So these phases, these SDLC phases, can be labeled separately and can be given some unique titles in each and every methodology. Now, as we all follow Agile Scrum, so we'll try to go Agile Scrum in depth so that we can basically label each and these activities, each and these phases uniquely. And we'll try to understand how a project management or a program management refer to these phases, right? So it's an important part. Thanks, Richaji. Thanks for bringing that up. Yes, Vijayji, do you want to give an example of a project from your, learnings?
So my the thing is, like, right now I'm planning to put some racks in my basement. So that I
Wow.
would as a project where I have to plan, like, where I need to put all the racks, and what are the equipment that I need, what are the measurement I need to take so that I can put those things in place. So I
Very right.
think that would be one of the project that uh, could be counted as.
So let me ask you
Yeah,
something, Vijayji, if you don't mind.
yeah, please.
So rack means you buy the rack from
No,
Costco.
I mean to say no. It's like I don't want to make a ready-made rack. It's like I want to get some wooden shelves and
Okay,
wooden
okay, okay. Got it,
planks, and
got it.
then put it together and make a rack kind of thing.
Excellent, excellent. It's a good project actually. Yeah.
Right.
So
Right. In India,
basically,
we normally
you
in
need a
India we
base.
normally go to carpenter and ask him to do it.
I
We are
know
No,
lucky
that's
no.
to have
In
the
this
all the.
country, in
in
North
US you
America,
do
we have to do
everything
our own.
yourself. Right.
I know, I know.
And one important thing in North America is that everything you can get it on rent, like on rent basis. Like when I was in India, I was like shocked that there is no equipment for rental. Here you can find all the equipment for rental, so it will be very easy. So you can work, do your work and return back those equipment, and
Oh,
then
really? I didn't knew that. I thought you have to buy
no,
most
no,
of them.
always
I
do,
mean, I know
always
there are
do.
many rental things, but for like cutting and all that, you are saying that you can rent it out.
Yes, you can go in
Oh,
Home Depot and you can buy, you can get it, and you can uh, rent for like 4 or 5 days, and then you can return it. It's very cheaper than you can keep,
oh,
because
okay.
what would be happening in your home? There is no space. There is another planning, like as they
Oh, yeah.
said, you need
True.
space in our home. So you don't have to occupy the space for the equipment. So I always do that.
Right. Oh, okay. Good to know that. Thanks.
In St. Louis, we used to have too much space, so space is not at all a problem.
Hmm.
But yeah, in Mumbai we have too little space, so space is always a challenge.
No,
Okay,
in North America, we have a like huge houses. That is not a
yeah,
problem.
that's right.
But to maintain those houses, it's very, very difficult.
It's a pain. Yeah, to cut the lawn, it takes almost 2 days or
Correct.
almost 30 plus hours. Believe me.
Yeah,
I need to
and
get that, as you said, we need to get that land mower from Home Depot, oil it,
correct,
fill
correct,
the
correct, correct.
fuel and all those things. It's
And
really
during
a mammoth task.
the snow time, we have to use
Arey, man.
the snow machine. So
Yeah,
every
yeah,
time,
that snow machine is another pain. I know. Luckily in India we don't have snow. Otherwise, there'll be a big pain because you need to worry about those pipes. You need to worry about those pipe underground and all those because they get punctured, right, due to
correct.
low temperatures and all. In India we don't have that problem. Luckily,
Yeah,
Right.
otherwise it'll be a big. But yes, so let's come back to this thing. So thanks. And yes, in India, in US mostly you rent wherever, even if you try to move and all those things. In India you need to purchase. So these are the uniqueness of each and every project we talked about, right? So I believe we understood what you mean by project. Then we'll try to understand what you mean by product, right? So just to stress it out, everything is a temporary endeavor, so you can see the end in sight. That's a need. You can't go on my meditation is a project. No, because your meditation can go up to months together or years together. So we normally talking about a temporary endeavor where you can see the end in your eyesight, or you can clearly define the end, right? So that's why a project is a temporary endeavor. What we talk about, it's a definite end type of planning or definite end type of vision, which I'm trying to build, trying to address, and that's what I'll start, and they'll have an end date. So planning is must. The definition of end should be clear and crisp at the envisioning phase. That's what we normally, and we'll discuss this thing in detail whenever we come across the phases definition and those things as well, right? So let's try to understand the other part of it, product. Now, what do you mean by product? This is kind of thing which you are building or creating repetitively. So that can be either a component or another item of another item, an enhancement or a correction of an item, or a new end item itself. So let's say if I want to make pencil, right? Pencil is a not a unique thing, but I'm trying to create, as you said, 1000 pencils to sell to Mumbai market, right? So how do I do it? That's a project. So to create a 1000 pencils to ship to market is my project, and I can clearly assign an end date to it. So this should happen before 10th of January. So whatever I have in my mind, I have to plan it accordingly. I need to make 10,000 pencil before 10 January. So I should try and create 1,000 pencils a day at least. And if I'm trying to, give some time for procuring the machines and all those raw materials and all, then I need to reduce that time and crash the construction at a later stage. So I might be building 2,500 pencils a day, so that on 10 January I can push this project to the market. Could you understand me? What do you mean by crashing? How we plan it? This is an important part of the overall understanding project execution, or precursor of a project execution, what we normally talked about. Okay, so product, that can be either a component, it can be a part of pencil which I'm trying to manufacture. So it can be the graphite rod, it can be the wooden wrapping, it can be the plastic cap if I'm at all including that in my product. So it can be either a component or another item. An enhancement, the cap is an enhancement, I don't need it, but if it has, it gives a good look, good value. So packaging also comes under product, right? So creating a packaging for my product is also part of product. Or correction of an item. So if I'm trying to correct, as you said, like you need to build shelves within your house or repair shelves, whatever you created few years ago, because they're damaged due to water and salt and what all things, right? So correction of an item is also a product manufacturing, because you need to do it even repetitively, but each and every such endeavors have a definite goal in mind, and so they can be labeled as a unique project. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Great. Or new end item itself. So if I'm totally, what you can say, removing all the old shape and trying to plan it or put it new shelves there. So this is how I do it. So these are all comes under project, and then we can call it as a product. So we can call it as an enhancement of a product in a normal English. But as in PMI, I try to categorize as a product. Then there's a service, a capability to perform as a service. So when I say I need to provide a langar on 10th of January. Okay, so 10th of January, if I'm planning to do a langar, you know langar, right? Langar is like, you normally have a free food service for all devotees coming to the Gurudwara. For
Right.
that, I need to plan those utensils, you need to plan all those, groceries, you need to plan all those things, you need to plan the cooks as well, you need to plan the serving persons as well. So to plan this, it's a temporary endeavor. And I have given a unique, uniqueness to the product, because it's a unique day. It can get continued, it can go, it can continue for this Thursday, that Thursday, next Thursday and all. But when I'm trying to create a project, I have to plan for a specific day, because that endeavor should be temporary with the end clearly in sight. That's how we normally define these things. So when I say end clearly in sight, these are the tricky questions which normally comes under the PMI question bank. You can see such question. So when you say temporary endeavor, they'll give you a couple of really slippery answer or similarly looking answer. So you need to choose in carefully and clearly. So these words do matter whenever you're trying to understand the question banks and those things. We'll talk that time also. Okay, so we are trying to create a capability to perform a service, but still this is a kind of additional definition. The main definition is project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create unique product, service or a result. Does that make sense? Any confusion at this moment? Any do you want to ask anything to me?
So
We are
you
good,
said,
right?
yeah. So
Go
you
ahead,
said
please.
unique project means you are manufacturing pencil. So it's a unique project. But my
No,
question
no,
to
no, 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 no. That okay, good that you brought it up. Manufacturing pencil is not a project. Manufacturing pencils with a specified number. The end should be in my sight.
okay. So how can you say it's a unique product? My question to you is that
Mm-hmm.
if I am a if I am owner of Natraj and another company is called Shalimar or Sharpie, they
Apsara,
are
whatever, yeah. Uh-huh.
right. So both are making a pencil. So how does this product is called unique? Because both are making a see, Tesla is also making a car, Maruti is
Right,
also making a car. So
right,
how can we say it's a unique product? uh,
right.
Product
Good.
is same car, right? So
Right,
I
right.
want to understand that one.
Perfect, perfect. So Tesla is making um, X30, right? I forgot the model number.
It's
So
electric car, yes. X model.
X30, something like that, right? So whenever you're trying to create an X30, the generation of X30 is not a project. Creating 30 X30 in Jan 2021 is my project. So I need to manufacture 30 X30 cars within a month. That's my project. The end should be in sight. If you don't have end in sight, it's not a project. I want to lose weight. This is my project for last, how many, 10, 12 years. It's not a project because I don't have end in sight. Even if I try, the results are not. But that's a different scenario. That's why. So if Maruti is trying to create, let's say, 3000 Brezza is one of the SUV like model in India. So Brezza in 2021, that's a project, right? So they want to create Brezza, or they want to allocate certain budget, certain resources to this temporary endeavor. So it makes a project, but the end should be clearly in sight. It is a temporary endeavor. So if it's not a temporary, if it's a continuous endeavor, we don't specify it as a project. So in general, manufacturing is a process, it's an ongoing process. But if you're planning to give a benchmark, planning to give an end to it, it can be a project. It can fall under the category of project. Does that make sense?
Ravindra ji, one question.
Please go ahead.
So I'm trying to understand, like, so if car making is not a project, but the
Right,
number of car making is a project,
right.
then how is the like if I want to make the shelf, that
Mhm.
cannot be a project, but the number of shells I make is a project.
No. Okay. Let me tell you. You are doing number of okay. You are doing self within your what you can say within your basement, right? So basement is a
Yeah.
limited space. You can have so many shelves, and you can see I can do this in a month, or let's say a year for that matter. If you have a big basement,
Okay.
And
will it take more than a year?
can you allow me to speak?
Please
Let
go
me,
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
okay. So Vijay ji,
Yeah.
okay, you take a assignment. You take an assignment. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
what assignment you take that? Okay, I have to finish this one. Like you have to create a shelf in your basement. This is not a continuous process. See what he said. Car manufacturing, he's trying to lose his weight from last 10 years. It's a I mean, like it's not like
You
he has
can't
to
say end
wait.
in sight. You can't see the end in sight.
Yeah, but you have certain time that okay, on so and so date you will be complete this task, right? That is called project. But my question to you is that Ravi ji,
Uh,
unique product, like unique product means what was my question? Like both companies are making a car, right?
right.
How it should be unique? Like I want to understand that thing. Yeah, I
Sure.
know, I
It's
know
a great
because
question. Yeah, I'll answer that.
yeah,
If
yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
if I purchase a Tesla X3,
Mhm.
is it a unique car?
It's a unique car. Car is unique, 100% unique.
Right. So
But the
okay,
product is not unique. Yeah, the product is also unique. Yeah, because it's an electric car and the one is a gasoline. That is also
exactly. So no, not from, even you have 3000 X30 in their lot, which are manufactured by Tesla, and I choose mine. It's
oh,
same color. It's all 3000 car are red color, black tires, and blah blah blah. But when I get a car, I put up, I pay a price and I put a finger on one car and drive it to the home. Then it's a unique car, right? So to purchase a car is a project for me. To acquire a car is a project for me. But to acquire a car, I need to choose a car. I can't say, okay, Tesla company, give me car. So Tesla company say, okay, you have this today, then this, then that. Leasing is not a project.
uh, so then in that case, if you can see,
No,
the
leasing
best
can be a
example,
project also, because lease have a specified end date, right? They have a
yes,
1 year lease, 99-year lease, or
yes.
whatever. Yeah, so that can be a project. See,
That,
the end should be in sight. As simple as that.
in that
उसका
case,
अंत आपको दिखना चाहिए.
yeah, in that case, I think if you speak about unique product,
हाँ,
Rolls Royce is a best example.
Yeah, it's a handmade card, right? Perfect.
Yeah, because you said customize, because unique product will be customized according to your requirement, and
Right,
they said within certain time they will deliver to you. So that is the end time.
right. And
Okay.
it's a handmade. So everything is in unique.
Yeah. Okay.
Does that answer your question, Vijay ji?
Uh,
Can I say something over here?
Yeah, please, ma'am.
What is a project? What do you think a project is? Whether it's a software or manufacturing or whatever domain you think of. Like, what do you think a project is?
Project is there should be some outcome within a certain time.
Perfect.
That's a very bookish. Sorry to say, but that's a very bookish definition. I'm so sorry for this. If I heard
No, no, no,
someone's
nothing to see. We are discussing. Please don't say sorry and thank you. Let's go ahead.
no,
Okay.
in my like my views, a project is an idea which came into someone's mind at some point, and
Absolutely
he
correct.
started towards achieving that idea into modifying it to a real thing, right? हम ऐसे
Okay,
बैठ
right?
के कई बार बात करते रहते हैं. We spouses used to sit together and we used to like argue some point of time. Like wife used to say, यार यहाँ जाना है, we need to go for grocery shopping, we need to go for this and that and that. And husbands are like, why we need to go there? Why can't we have it at home? So maybe this is why we got the e-commerce sites nowadays.
Right. Okay, let
So
me, yeah, sure,
this
go
is
ahead,
an
ma'am.
idea. This is an idea which comes into someone's mind at some point, and he started building that into a real thing. So that is a project.
Got it.
Okay,
so then,
I was,
if that is the thing, then again my same question goes back. If
Mm-hmm.
I'm making one car, why is this not a project?
no,
Because
one car is
I
definitely a
want,
project, no?
okay, I want to make a car and deliver. So one car also is a project, right? Why is it
That's
not a
right.
project then?
That's
I
right.
agree.
One car is a
Yeah,
project.
yeah,
Even
it's a project.
even in this case, like Vijay ji,
Because I heard earlier that making one car is not a project, but then making 30, 300 car is a project. So that's what
No,
I
no,
was
you're
confused.
taking it other way around. Making 3,000 car is a manufacturing process. It's not a project. It can be done in one day. It can be done in 3,000 days. So
Okay.
unless and until you have the
It's your
end result
limitation that.
inside, unless and until you define it in a particular schedule, it's not a project. Again, let me tell you, when I was working with at St. Louis, I also was closely working with Grady Butch. He's a forefather of UML, Unified Modeling Language, and his best example is making tea. So making tea is a process. I make tea every morning, but I wake up today, I make ginger tea. That's a project. And when I woke up, I started making a tea. That is a uniqueness because I make tea every day. Still, what type of tea I make today is a project. But overall, making tea is a process. Could you understand that definition?
so Vijay ji, you are not making self every day or every year, right? Once you make yourself and once it is ready, your project is done.
Right. So the
Right.
end is in sight. That's what the definition says, right? The end should be in sight. It is measurable. It's you have to plan it that way. You can plan it. My death
Okay.
is not a project. My death can be a it's an how do you put
Uncertain.
it?
Uncertain.
It's an unended open ended क्या बोल सकते हो उसको endeavor. It's not
Life
a
and death
temporary.
is uncertain. That's what you said.
Yes, something like that. That's right. That's the right word. Does that make sense?
Kind of. Yeah.
With any confusion, we can discuss it out because these are the really what you can say critical matter, crucial matter. We'll understand it. Don't worry. Means by the end of today, you'll understand it clearly and crisply. Here we are talking about a
No, because
result, right?
earlier I was still that I wrote it down, like you said, creating car is not a project, but that making 300 car is having the time, how many cars you make is a project. So I was that
Right.
confused.
No, making car is a process. Mean making car in a factory is a process.
No,
Making
it's not
car
a
me
project
as
then.
a
Hold on,
person.
hold on, hold on. making car, making car is not a project, but it's a process.
Right. In a factory, normally I don't make car at my home, right? Means even it's something like a Rolls Royce. They plan each and every car because each and every car is made by hand. If you go to Ford, if you go to Tesla, if you go to Maruti, they have a factory. How they create cars, they plan a project of creating 3000 car in 2021. That's a project. But overall, it's a process of building car. They collect raw material, they collect iron, they collect that tin, they collect the paint, they collect the plastic item, or they procure the already made plastics item, and they assemble a car on a 80%, 20%, whatever that scale, assembling and creation, what you call it. So they build a car. So that's a kind of process they do day in, day out. That's not a project because it's a continuous execution. They'll not say today I make car, tomorrow I'll start making bicycle.
एक simple example उन्होंने दिया ना. So they said you are making a tea daily, right? You are drinking a tea. Example, for an example,
right.
You are drinking a tea daily basis, right? That is not a project because it's a continuous process that you are your daily activity, daily routine you are doing on regular basis, right? Like you go on washroom and you get shower and something like that. So daily routine. This is not a project because you are not doing something new. But if you wake up tomorrow and then you decide, okay, I will do meditation today, that is a project. There's a new project.
Okay.
A step in a routine can be a project because you can see the end in sight. You can see the temporariness of the endeavor. The finish should be visible. Does that make sense, Vijayji?
No, because in the making tea also there is a finish line also, right? In that the start.
But you are doing on daily basis, right? This activity you are doing beyond daily basis, right?
So it's a daily project.
Car manufacturers are manufacturing car on daily basis, but they have a tenure that okay, today a manager has decided okay, the production is only 2500 pens, but I want to do something new. I want to make it at least 2600 100 pen manufacturing should be increased today. So that is a call project, and for that, what exactly you need? That's what Raviji said. That
if I look at it in this way also, right? Okay, my wife makes roti, chapati every day. Okay,
right.
So for her, it's not a project, right?
Yes, but you make chapati.
If I make chapati, then it's a project for me.
Right, correct. You can say like that.
Correct.
So I would look at it in that way because making one car also, if it's a new company and he wants to make a car, it's a project for him. But a person like Tesla or anyone, they are making 300. They will make 300 cars. So are we saying that at a certain point that the project definition changes? Because for me, making chapati is a project, but for her, it's not a project. I mean, I'm just talking out loud. I don't know why I'm making sense.
I can understand your dilemma. I'll request you to wait and hold on, till we take more such example.
Yeah, no problem.
Because I think you are confusing between the process and a step in a process. But yes, let's try to understand whenever we go deep, right? Because then we'll understand the product and even service, and then you can understand crystal clear how the difference is. Okay, so no problem. So we talk result as a unique product or an outcome or a document. So once you have, whenever we discuss a project, it has to have a complete unique product, a unique outcome. That's what we talk about, right? So as a unique product or a unique outcome or a document, a research project that develops a knowledge that can be used to determine whether a trend exists or a new process will be benefit society. This is a kind of, even they talked about a continuous process, continuous research with a determined end insight. Then it's a specified result, specified timeline. We can call it as a project, right? That's how they put it. So once you have a result, once you know the result, once you plan for a result, it's a project. But normally it's a continuous process, like making a tea. Today I woke up, I make a ginger tea. So ginger tea was a project for me early morning. Now tomorrow also I'll make a tea. It can be cardamom tea, it can be masala chai, it can be whatever. But that's a process. Today's tea or tomorrow's tea will be a project. So I plan whenever I wake up, I'll put the pot handy, I'll put the tea powder handy, I'll put the cardamom crushed already so that I can just put in the tea and tea will get created in a minute's time. So that's a precursor planning what I talked about, right? So for the result, for a project, I can do a precursor planning. But when I say I want to make tea every day, I can't do a precursor planning, because when you say every day, okay, so I might need 2 kilo tea powder, I might need 3 kilo ginger, but no, I can't have that much ginger, right? It'll get spoiled, perished. So process have a what you can say repetitive result. A project have a unique result. Does that make sense, Vijayji? Now
Process has repetitive result.
And project have a unique result.
Can I ask something?
Sure, go ahead.
A very good example. Vijayji, it's a learning curve. So I am not sure whether this question is right or wrong, but Richaji also, please, if you can give your input, both guys, I need answer. Okay. Thompson, right? Edison, who invented
Light bulb.
light, right? So electricity. So he tried to achieve this
3,000 times. That's what they say philosophically.
He tried 10,000 times.
10,000.
10,000 times he tried and he was failed. But that process was different. So how do we call in that case? Like he tried everyday new things, right? 10,000 times he tried, and after that he got success. So what is that process called?
That's a research. It's a process.
Yeah, but there is.
But once
there is no outcome in that one, right? There is no outcome, because 9,999 times he was failed.
Right.
So he was doing some project, right? Research is there, but he was doing some projects. He want to find electricity, how electricity work, and how can he achieve that electricity. So that what does it call?
Research was a process. If you calculate, every attempt was a project, because he has a result in mind, a unique result in mind, but still it's a temporary endeavor. He know I need to start building so it will end as early as possible. I need to try again. So that trying is a process. Each and every result can be labeled as a project.
Okay, so 10,000 times his failure is a project, like so 10,000 projects.
Those are failed projects. Right? That's right.
So he built 10,000 project, and then after that he was success. So okay, so because I'm writing down also.
Sure, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay,
perfect.
So so let's go ahead. So then we talked about a unique combination of one or more products, services, or a result. For example, a software application. It's a permutation and combination of a programming language, right? So it's associated with the documentation and help desk services also. So we talked about a unique combination to set up an attendance enhancement management system. Can be a project, because it will have a software application developed, constructed, associated with some documentation. And then we talked about supporting with a help desk also. So this is a project. So once my help desk is in place, up and running, might be 3 years down the line, the project will finish. And I have a unique results in mind. So it's not a process. It's a timely planned activity with a end result in mind. I can schedule it, I can plan it. So that's what I call a project. I can generate product, I can generate service, I can generate documentation or a result. So achieving my PMI certification is a project. If I say I have to do PMI before March 2021, that's a project. If I say I have to do a PMI, that's a wish. So how does wish differs with a project? Whenever you assign a time to it, whenever you assign a schedule to it. Okay. In management, we normally talk about SMART goal. So SMART goal is basically a good way of converting a thought process, a wish list, to a project. Have you heard
So
of? Okay.
SMART means specific, measurable, achievable, something like that.
Yes, perfect, perfect, perfect.
What is smart?
S for specific, M for
Measurable.
measurable, E for achievable, R
Huh?
for realistic, and
Huh?
T for in time bound. That is called
Time
SMART.
bound. Perfect. So SMART is a project. So whenever I attach SMART to my wish list or SMART planning, it's called a project. Does that make sense,
Can you
Vijay
repeat that?
ji?
I didn't get that. Specific, measurable, achievable,
Achievable,
what is,
achievable,
and then next R.
realistic, and time bound.
Realistic and time bound.
Okay.
This is an expanded definition of a project. Means we are expanding the definition of a PMI. See, if you look at the PMI, it says the same thing. A project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create unique product, service, or a result. Temporary means you need to have a time boundness to attach to it. Endeavor is a specific task, specific result expected out of it. And we're talking about product, service, or a result. So it can be a documentation, it can be a degree certificate, it can be a research which has a specified defined end date in mind. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect. Chalo, great. So I believe we understood this project definition. I would like to I would like to you to say this definition next time whenever we meet. It's a kind of homework. Think it through and try to support it with an example. Okay? You can give the example whatever you were given today, or otherwise you can think a better example. It depends on you.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on. Now let's discuss in depth what you mean by temporary endeavor. So what we talk about project or a product, objectives has been achieved. So whenever, what you mean by end in sight, whenever I define an objective, if that achieved, then my project is success. If not achieved, it's it's a failure. But still, I need to have an end date. I need to have a schedule attached to it. Then I can call it as a project. The objective will not or cannot be met. So whenever the temporary endeavor is a failure, the objective will not or cannot be met, then it's a end. So I define the project as a failure end. Okay, see, we need to understand these look and corners, because whenever we say temporary endeavor, we need to go in depth to understand this definition, right? So we are trying to understand the exceptions, the failure definition of the project here. Okay, now funding is exhausted or no longer available for allocation to the project, then the temporariness of a project project will end. We are trying to analyze the situation wherever we define the project is at the end. Unsuccessful or successful depends on the outcome or the results which we have objected to build. The need of a project no longer exists. So whenever I'm trying to, let's say, I'm trying to build Christmas hats, right? And trying to take it to the market. So if I'm building this Christmas hat, I need to build, stitch these hats and send it to the market before 20th of December or 24th of December, or at least before 25th of December. Otherwise, they are no use. The product is not no longer need of a project is no longer exist. Need of a product is no longer exist, right? So then it's a failure because I have delayed the project and the need vanished already. The customer no longer wants the project completed. Like you said, you want to build some let's say shelf, right, in your basement. No, whenever if the need actually vanishes, the project can be called as a failure. But it's a specified project because your house is specific, your basement is specific, your need is specific, and you have a clear end in mind. So if the need is there, then only we can call the project as an successful project, right? The project completed and a change in strategy or a priority ends of a project. The organizational management provides a direction to the end of the project. So the end of the project has to be defined and planned, then only you can normally call or refer it as a project. You can create a product, but if it's you have a uniqueness planned for it, you have a unique plan for it, you have a unique end date for it, then you can call the production as a project. The production of a car, if I'm making at my home, it's also a project. If a production of, let's say, 300 car, and if Ford is making a project of 300 cars making in Jan 2021, that's also a project, because they need to align the resources for a specific task, very specific end in mind, specific clarified success criteria. That's what we talked about, right? The human or physical resources are no longer available. See, if the labor is not available for making a car, then the temporary endeavor is a failure. The project is terminated for a legal cause or convenience. So if the government enacted a new law and it made illegal to do this project, let's say if I have a if I won a contract of selling liquor in an area where liquor was legal before, then the local state government enacted a law saying liquor is not legal now. So whatever the project I'm trying to execute, even if the end date is clear and all those things, still due to legal cause or convenience, I have to scrap that project. Okay, so that project is a failure then, because of environmental condition, not in control of the creator or the visionary. This also happens. Very few example, but yes, this happens. So projects are temporary, but their deliverables may exist beyond the end of the project, right? We create a product. I'm creating pencils which can end, which can be there for years altogether, but I have created, let's say, 10,000 pencils in 10 days. Okay, projects may produce deliverables of a social economic material or environmental nature, right? I'm planting a tree, I'm planting hundreds tree. I keep planting tree for years, that's my process. But if I plan to plant 10 trees today, that's my project. Okay, so there is a process, and project is a step in between which I plan with a clear end in mind. A project to build a national monument will create a deliverable expected to last for centuries, right? If I'm trying to create a Murti of Hanumanji of let's say 500 feet and so on and so forth, that will be a national monument which can be existed centuries altogether, like the Statue of Unity, statue of Sardar Patel created in Gujarat, which will last for at least 300 years. That's how it planned, right? So it's a national monument created by government which will last for centuries altogether. That wasn't project. It started on a specific day, it ended on a specific day. Might be extension of a specific day is possible. That's what we call longer execution of a project or skewed execution of a project. But it was defined as a project because it was a temporary endeavor. I need to create Sardarji's statue within next 6 months. That's how it was started. And they have achieved it in, I think, 4.5 months, if I'm not mistaken. So it was constructed well within time, and the statue is really great. Means you can see on a Google and all. Then it was really splendid statue. So that was a temporary endeavor. Does this make sense? Any confusion here?
No.
Okay, thanks, Vijay. So I believe you understood the what we are talking about as a project and the end result inside, or the temporariness of the project.
Yeah.
Dipteji, are we good?
Yes, good.
Okay, great. Now let's try to understand the transition part of it. Now this is another angle to it, and specifically, sorry. Okay, so now we try to understand different nook and corners of a project, right? Why we do it, how do we do it, what was the objectives and all those things. So let's try to understand. Sorry, any question for me?
No, nobody's saying anything.
Okay, so no problem. So we are talking about something like creating a business value. So whatever we create, which creates a business value, we normally uplift from a current stage to a future state. We have certain aim in mind, aim inside, so that whatever we do is to add value. Okay, normally the way this slide PMI refers to, like what you can say, killing somebody is not a project, because even if you have an end result in mind or a schedule in mind, that is what you can say detrimental state or we are not adding any value. We are not adding any business value. So whenever we are talking about a project, it's always a positive outcome. We are enhancing the state from one place to another. So we normally go up. So all these activity, what am I doing to make or create this product, service or solution, is to enhance the stage of organization. We'll have a look at these things whenever we try to discuss about ROIs. So why
So
we can
as
allocate
far as
ROIs to each and every project? Because normally all the project have an enhancing value to attach to it. So unless you do a project to enhance the value, the ROI doesn't, it's illogical to have a project which is reducing the value. So
so
if you are
can you
kind
can I
of, destructing a bridge for creating a new bridge, that's okay. But if you are just destructing a bridge for the sake of, fun, that's not a project. That's we are talking about detrimental projects, which are not considered as a projects from a PMI standpoint of view.
so can I
Okay,
ask you something?
sure, go ahead.
So I have a question here. So as an example of iPhone, just an example on iPhone. So
Uh-huh.
iPhone 12 has launched. Now it's iPhone 13 has launched. Say for
Uh-huh.
example like that.
Right,
So this is iPhone 12 is a current state, and iPhone 13 is a future state, or iPhone 14 will come as a future state, right?
right.
Now, uh, iPhone is it is not the same iPhone.
It's
There
a
will,
product.
right, the product
Uh-huh.
will be different,
Right.
but as per my understanding, they will enhance a feature in iPhone 14. That is my future state. Am I understanding
Uh,
correctly?
no. We are not talking about, okay, phone is a product, right? Okay, enhancing a future state means not, we are not talking about a specific object here. We are
Okay.
talking about specific, कैसा बोल सकते हैं इसको? Uh,
The process, or maybe
See, iPhone 13 is a distinct product. iPhone 14 is a distinct product. You are not creating iPhone 14 from 13. You are not, what I can say, modifying the motherboard. You are not modifying the, what I can say, screen. It's not an enhancement. It's not a state of a same thing. These are two different entities, right? iPhone
Okay.
13 and
Yeah, that's what my question is. Yes, you
right.
understood correctly.
Okay.
Because these
So,
are the both are different product,
huh.
because this is not the same thing.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I want to understand that thing. Okay.
Okay,
or
sure.
or it might be like, if they want to use the same processor and same thing, say
Uh-huh.
for example Maruti. So Maruti is the same car, but
Mhm.
it is a 800 or 1000. So they, in that same design, they increase the cc of engine. So
Right.
instead of 800 they make a 1000 cc, or the same thing. That could be a future state, something like that, correct?
Right, that's right.
Okay, good, got it now.
Sure. So entity should be same and entity should be enhanced rather than, having something, different altogether. Okay. And we'll have a look at this thing in depth. We are talking about the positiveness. We are talking about the business value creation, right? So how do we add business value? How do we create positive asset? How do we create positivity in the creation? Otherwise, detrimentalness is not a project, or we don't normally refer it as a project, right? So let's try to understand in depth, and we will revisit each of these things in the next session also, because these are really important. Unless and until you understand this bit of complex matter, defining or understanding knowledge area doesn't come to us as an easy as it should be. So we should extend our thoughts rather than keep doing by heart. That's what I believe in. So you should know. Once you know, you can write essays, you can write books altogether, but you should know it by from your mind and soul. That's what they call it. Okay, so let's talk about business value. So when you talk about, I have to have add value to the business, add value to the life, add value to the society. How it's done? So business value as the net quantifiable benefit derived from a business endeavor. Now, what I'm talking about a temporary endeavor, which is basically adding value to the business. So I'm calling it as a business endeavor. So it's an endeavor taken by business for a specified time for a clear end in mind. That's why I can call it as a temporary endeavor. So business value as the net quantifiable benefit derived from a business endeavor. So business value is a value gets added or a positive, growth can be expected out of each and every project, each and every business endeavor. The benefit may be tangible, intangible, or both. A tangible is like gaining, certificate or getting something created which you can touch physically. Intangible, you can feel the enhancement, you can feel the speed of the car getting increased, right? Which is intangible. You can see the speedometer, but you can't touch the speed, right? I can see the numbers going up. The knowledge, I can gain the knowledge. So gaining experience, what R&D projects are, I want to understand the atom structure of this new element. That can be a project, but it will give you a knowledge which is basically intangible. I can write books about it, but still I can't touch that knowledge, right? So those things, or a combination of these two. So I can have a software product. With a product, I need some training to operate it so that I can enhance my system. We talked about enhanced attendance management system, which is basically a product plus help plus support. So I'm talking about intangible and tangible thing both. So I'm going to train the users, HR executive, so that they can use this new 24/7 cloud centralized solution and so on and so forth. But some of it can be touched. You can touch the iris scanner, you can touch the full body scanner and so on and so forth, but you can't touch the solution. The database is there on a cloud, you can access it, but you can't touch with your finger, right? So it's a mix and match of these things. So we are talking about tangible and intangible or both. So in business analysis, the business value is considered a return, right? Business value can't be touched. You can present it in a number in the form of elements such as time, money, and goods, or intangibles as a return for something exchanged, right? So whenever I say I want to enhance my attendance management system, the older way of attendance management system have been scrapped and I have new automatic attendance management system, right? So this type of scenario, I have added a value so that the business is now much quicker without manual intervention. So there are very few errors now. This is what you can say business value, and this get added only positively. If you are detrimenting something, if the business value is not getting added, the project is a failure, right? So that's how the overall failure and success we'll discuss in depth whenever we came across the success criteria of the project. But let's try to understand the business value and the and the measurement of such business values. Okay, let's try. Let's go a step ahead. Business value in a project refers to the benefit that results of a specific project provide to its stakeholder. So when I say I have implemented enhanced attendance management system, the users can feel the difference. Users can feel like for signing a register, it used to take 2 minutes. You have to stand in a queue, and then that supervisor used to see your ID and all those things. Now you just walk in there, you put your finger, you put your iris, and you are allowed to, or you are authorized to enter the premises. So this is normally attendance efficiently done, automatically done without any errors or leakages. So the business value in a project refers to a benefit that results from a specific project provide to its stakeholders or the users, right? The benefit from a projects may be tangible, intangible, or both. We talked about that. Example of tangible elements include monetary assets, stakeholder equity, utility, features, tools, and market shares. Examples of intangible: goodwill, brand recognition, public benefits, trademarks, strategic alignment, reputation, long-term engagements, and so on and so forth. So could you understand these things, how we talked about business value and what is business value?
Yes.
Great. I'll share the business analysis practical guide. This is basically from IIBA, International Business Analyst Association or Institute, and it's one of the good read if you like reading for business analysis. What it does, it talks you about how analysis has to be done. Analysis or envisioning is the most important part of a project, right? This have been analyzed or seen over the years. Like if you miss one requirement, the project can go for a toss. So for that, we build these analysis processes. So if you like to read, please read that book. It's an older version of BA book rather than a new book, because new book is copyrighted. Old book can be shared for the knowledge sharing or read purpose. Same way, PM book, I have an older, I think I have a sixth version, which was came in October 2020, which I'll be sharing with you. Now they are
Raviji,
coming out. Sorry, go ahead, please.
Raviji, last two, can you please explain last two tangible and intangible element in?
Sure, no problem. So examples of tangible elements include monetary asset. So you build a car, so car can be touched. Shareholder equity, the numbers can be seen in your bank. There are dividends coming into your income. Utilities, you can see the car is speeding up. The fixtures, you can see the iris scanner, you can see the biometric scanner, you can see the full body scanner, you can see the tools, right? If I have enhanced a robot, I can see the tools added to the robot, right? Then a market share means if the project was to acquire more market share, I can see the numbers coming to me. These are tangible elements which I can feel with my hand. I can feel the numbers. Okay, now example of intangible elements, which basically a goodwill. I can feel now everybody know me, the fame, the brand recognition. I know the brand. I know Philips, Sony, Samsung, and so on and so forth. The public benefit. So public is getting benefit from it, which is not directly to me, but to the masses. The trademarks. I've acquired a trademark. Strategic alignment. I can feel really better with the whole, new engagement, new product. I can feel the positivity going up, and a reputation. I can
So
feel
basically, as per my understanding, intangible is hidden.
right.
Yeah, right.
Right. You can feel,
Hidden
but you need
benefit.
to have a mental satisfaction,
Yes,
more or
it's
less.
a hidden benefit. Like a
Right.
goodwill
And
is like
tangible
a,
you can touch. Yes. And tangible you can touch.
correct. So goodwill, like after 1 year or 2 years, if I want to sell my business, but there is a goodwill, then I can get good money.
Right.
Brand recognition is like the same thing. Like Tesla is making a electric car and no one is in competition. So brand recognition is always there. Or if I want to buy electric car, my first choice should be Tesla.
Right.
Public benefit, like because this is an electric car, so it will be benefit for from the
Environmental
organization.
friendly. I know. I
Right.
don't have to, shell so many dollars for gas and all. That's right.
And trademark, I don't understand trademark. That's fine.
Okay. Tesla has that, specific embossed T on its car, right? Have you seen that?
Okay.
So
Yeah,
that's a trademark. I can't copy that trademark on my Maruti vehicle.
okay. Got it. My logo.
So trademarks and copyright are specifically attached to the brands.
Yeah. And strategic alignment.
You can move to US whenever you want, right?
Yes.
That's a strategic alignment because of your international status.
Okay. And reputation, obviously, yes. Correct.
Yeah, Canada and US are friends. This is reputation. India and Pakistan are not friends. That's another reputation.
Okay.
You can understand it clearly.
Monetary asset, when you sell the car, then monetary asset will be obviously increased. Stakeholder increase because of your.
You can see the number. You can see the monetary benefits, right?
Yeah. So basically, this one is like you can feel it. You can touch
Right.
it. Yes, correct. Okay,
You can see it. You can touch it, right?
Excellent.
Or to be, to give you a theoretical definition, tangible elements are valued at actuals. Intangibles can be valued, but not at actuals. They can vary. So like brand recognition, even you say Tesla brand, if I'm going to purchase, it might, can be at market value of around, let's say 50 billion, right? I know that, but it's always an approximation attached to these intangible elements. I have the knowledge of project management, but could you measure it? Could you say 2 kilo, 3 kilo,
Correct.
2 gram? No. So it's more of knowing by heart or mind. And
Yes.
tangible, you can touch and you can feel, you can utilize at the same value.
Correct.
Does that make sense?
Correct.
Yes. So many of means we can put equity in the intangible also, but it depends on your perspective. But this is what the PMI says. So this is how they've categorized, because PMI highly stress on the business value additions, and the numbers attached with it. So the way PMI says it, those numbers are real. That's what they say. But in theory, many philosophical theories says number is an imaginary number. Number is an imaginary art. So number 2, you say, right? We have a specific way of writing number 2, be it Marathi, Gujarati, or English, or Roman.
Yes.
So that is an image we relate to something which is imaginary. So sorry, I don't want to confuse you, but that's a theory or philosophy attached to it. So for as far as PMI goes, monetary assets, stockholder equity, utility fixtures, tools, and market shares are tangible elements. Intangible, goodwill, brand recognitions, public benefit, trademarks, copyrights, strategic alignments, reputations, engagements, new relations. These are all intangible elements. Okay, does that make sense? Any confusion here?
No, very nice.
Great,
I
thank you.
understand correctly. Yeah.
No
Thank
problem.
you so much. Yeah.
And this is how we learn, right? We share our idea, we share our example. If there are any confusion, we share or we discuss in depth. Please don't worry. This is the best way of learning. Now,
Vijayji, I'm asking question in between. Is it okay with you, right?
I'm like thinking, okay, it's good for me because I'm completely new to all these terms and everything, and you have much knowledge about it as well, and all of you are like helping me out in that sense. So it's
no,
really good.
Dipesh ji
Yeah,
was working
because
as an PM, right, for a couple of
right.
years now. So he have, I think, trade in this water to be, put it in
Yeah, right. That's what I think. I can feel that he's already
That's right, huh?
into
So
that.
Vijay ji, it's not a difficult. See, there's a theoretical part of it and there is a philosophical part of it. So अगर ये दो अपन पढ़ लेते हैं, so there won't be any challenge. Please don't worry on that part.
Yeah. But
Now,
Deepti, no worries. You can ask
yeah, it's
whatever
good.
question you have.
It's good to have inquisitive, participants so that we can discuss in depth, we can understand in depth.
Actually,
Right.
it's a very late night, so sometimes you don't feel sleepy if it is interactive. So it's an amazing subject, but if you just listen, then you can sleep.
I know. Yeah, that's also
Yeah,
another
true.
way to look at it. But be it a morning or evening, you should be attentive and you should be asking questions so that you can learn on your own, right? And yeah,
Right.
if it's really interesting subject, then you won't feel sleepy also. But yeah, sometimes then we can wrap it up. Please don't worry. We just have a few minutes, right? So let's talk about management and control. So how does the PMI normally started building this project management process in late 70s. Before that, Carnegie Mellon was the most pioneer institution, or Carnegie Mellon, and there were few, right? Carnegie Mellon, Oxford. These were the main institution researching on unifying the processes overall for every project, product, or manufacturing services at that time. So they would come with something like how to manage. They were trying to build up processes or philosophies, how to manage or how to control, right? So whatever they come up with, whatever you can count, you can manage, you can control, right? So that was the basic crux of the whole thing. So whatever you can count, you can manage. So how to count certain things, right? How to count certain goodwill, how to count something like relationship. So we should have something called matrices. We should have something called attached a benchmark to it. It can be something like worst, good, bad, or red, green, yellow, the normal things. How they've started with. They've started with something like red, not good, yellow, chalega, okay, not then we have good. Good is green. Green is like okay, no, it can be the things are good. So so they have started aligning all these thought processes within these three categories. So when I'm trying to control anger, to manage anger, if I'm really at a worst anger thing, I should wait patiently. So that's how that counting number till 10 kind of practices put in place. So whenever I'm very angry, I should count from 1 to 10. Whenever I'm bit angry, just take few breaths. When I'm good to go, I'm good to go. So those kind of scenario. So there's a way, there's a methodology to attach or to control everything, including the things which we couldn't level it out. So we are trying to attach or assess levels or labels to these different thought processes so that we can control at the end of the day. When you say quality, Quality is really superficial thing. So once you attach matrices, once you attach grade to these measurements, then you can control, and that's how the overall progression happens, right? We talked about business objectives. Many times business objectives are intangible. So how do you track it? You normally attach a label of bad, okay, good. So it's like red, green, yellow. That's the normal first level of magnitude, or what you can say, attributes we align to these guys, right? Now then we assess, manage, or control on these things, right? So let's try to understand how we do it in a step by step. The satisfy stakeholder expectation. How do you satisfy? So you should build something like requirement, a vision, have to be converted to a requirement, have to be converted to the functionality, and these functionality or the vision or the requirements are approved by the stakeholders, so that whatever you say, that as an inclusion we perceive, if we complete those, then you are satisfied, at least at a okay level. Could you understand what I'm trying to say here? Is basically coming from a philosophy. What if you want to manage something, if you want to control something, you need to assign attributes or labels to these conditions, so that you can track it, you can control it, you can manage it. So how do I do it? There's a step-by-step process to it. The most old process came into thought process in late 60s about labeling all such elements with bad, okay, or good. So good is okay is acceptable, good is really good, fit for the purpose, bad is not fit for the purpose. So these three gradation have started aligning all such intangible process or intangible outcome, so that we can manage and control them effectively. Okay, so how does that help? It can be more predictable, so that we can label these outcomes or with these attributes. Increase chances of success, because then I can clearly define failure and success, right? Deliver the right products at the right time to to acquire the satisfaction. So we can label the time. Time can be labeled easily because it's a tangible thing. We can measure it in second, minutes, or this thing. So schedule can be attached. Now the result, the satisfaction can't be measured, right? So we say, do you think it's okay? Do you think it's the best suitable for you? Do you think it's bad? So at least on the basic these criteria, I can label, or I can attribute these intangible items as well, right? And resolve problems and issue if there is a bad, so that there is a need to of enhancement, right? That's also perceived. Then respond to risk in a timely manner, so that we can control risk. Many risks are mostly intangible in nature. We'll have a look at this thing whenever we go in depth of a what you can say, risk management or risk control knowledge area. Then how to optimize the use of organizational resources. That's also, have you done it good, bad, or worse? So those kind of gradation we can attach to it. Identify, recover, or terminate failing projects, so that we can reduce our ROIs. We'll have a look at this thing whenever we try to learn scope control in depth, when we try to learn cost control in depth, how to terminating a project can be profitable or can add value to the business as well. So we'll have a look at those things. And then manage constraint like scope, quality, schedule, cost, resources, so on and so forth. So these are the few knowledge areas which we're going to study in depth whenever we work on a project monitoring and control, or during the execution of the project, right? And balance the influence of constraint of a project. Increased scope may increase the cost and schedule. Nowadays we work on something called agility, flexibility. So how does this affect? The requirements can come to you at any time. Okay, that's understood. But all these requirements may cost you more, because whenever you say you have to add a scope, whenever I need an extra button on my panel, that button has a cost attached to it. And even the construction or applying the button functionality has a cost attached to it. So that will get added recursively. That's how Agile project have a recursive budget. We'll understand this budgeting of Agile project in our cost control and schedule control. Those knowledge area. These knowledge area, there are never 10 knowledge area where PMI project management control and monitoring is based on. We'll have a look at each of these knowledge area in depth. There are workshops attached to it, and there are various measures, inputs, outputs, and all those things are attached to a knowledge area, which makes or enable project manager to control in depth, to understand each of these knowledge area and control it to the nth level, so that the project success is assured, right? And that's how the PMI helps us to achieve the planned project success, which is a temporary endeavor. So we have a clear schedule in mind, clear end in mind, and that's how we can manage and change the overall project in a better manner. Okay, I think it's a bit heavier today. So, as Diptesh, he also suggested, let's stop here. Unless you have any questions, please, you can ask now.
I think I'm good.
You're good, right? Is Diptesh here? Okay, good. No problem. So, if we don't have any question, let's stop here. As you said, we need to stop at 9 o'clock, right? We are
Yes,
good.
somebody else also joined as well, Darp Patel.
No, I don't think so.
That's Diptesh.
My computer name is Dar Patel, my son's name. That is my.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought somebody else.
That's all.
He was there, right?
There are two.
And we have two Vijay, one through phone, one through laptop.
One is one where my voice can go, and one where I can see on the big screen.
Okay. I can understand. No problem. So, go ahead, please.
Question, Raviji.
Yeah, please go ahead.
We are two participants only, or there will be a more.
There are more. Yeah, there are, I think, 2 or 3 guys who have already paid, but I don't know why they are not joining. Might be busy in New Year's and Christmas and all those things. It happens sometimes. So we'll have a revision. Means we'll revise this thing if 3 or more resources join afterwards. That's a normal practice. Please don't worry. Or I have a separate extra class on Sundays and Saturdays. Sundays mostly.
Yeah. So Vijay ji, I want to share something. About Raviji. This is not a better policy, or no, this is not like I'm saying, because I have attended his class previously, 2 or 3 classes I attended, and believe me, Vijay ji, this is the best instructor I have ever found, because these guys are teaching very timely manner, and as well as I found that this is very interactive. No one will ask you would you understand or not, because I saw that there are some professionals in Canada also, they are not teaching like this.
No, so, I would say the same. Means even this is the first time, but I was that day only I was talking to him. I really like the way Raviji, you speak about everything and explain and interactively. Means I am not feeling sleepy at all. Otherwise, in any lecture, I just go to sleep.
Even Richa is also nice. Richa is also nice. I did not attend her class, but I have heard that she is teaching Scrum very good. So I don't know about her, but
she's certified Scrum and Agile expert. I think she'll start within a few days, most probably. We'll have an Agile Scrum first, and then we'll move into the knowledge area one by one, because agility put a different perspective to the overall thought process. So once you know the Agile principles, once we know the way Scrum works, it's easier for us to actually calibrate our thought processes in terms of these. And then workshop will be like a breeze for us. There are around 84 workshops, as PMI suggested for 2021 certification. So we will go through those 84 workshops, believe me.
I would like to go also for the PDUs. So I will talk to you personally about that. Sure. If you have a time, just give me a call tomorrow, if it is possible for you. Or I will call you.
No, you can ask here. What is BDU?
PDU.
Okay, those ask now. Please don't worry. Guruschools is going to certify you on that.
Okay. One more thing. So this course is, I think, two months, right?
Right. Okay. So if you calculate hour-wise, it's like 8 hours a week. So it's like 8 into 8, right? So 64 hours.
Correct. And one more,
And
yeah,
and PMI expect is at around, I think, 50 hours, right? Or 55 hours.
correct.
So we are way ahead of that, and you'll have workshops and everything. So please don't worry. We are all covered. Means we've discussed this thing with the planning experts as well. So they've created well in advance. Please don't worry on that part.
So the BDU is a part of PMI. Like you need 55 hours BDU.
PDU is like I couldn't remember the exact long form it. These are basically number of hours you are trained on particular topic.
Okay.
So like we have discussed business value creation. We spend 30
It's
minutes on
called,
business. Sorry, go ahead.
it's called Program Development Unit.
Okay, program development unit. So these are basically training as you take, right? So training what you're taking. So Guruschools is going to certify on these things, and we'll also include number of hours there, because this can be converted to PDs.
Program or professional, something like that.
Yeah. So that's why I said it's a bit confusing, but yes, next time I'll get that long form for you.
No, I found it's a professional development unit. Sorry. Not
Okay, professional unit. Okay, see. So professional development units, these are basically training hours, at the end of the day in English language.
Excuse me.
No problem.
The only
Okay,
last
so-
part. So after that, you also help us on mock interviews and those kind of stuff, right?
Yes, we have question banks, we have mock interviews planned. Please don't worry on that part.
Excellent.
No
Excellent. So Vijayji, we are in a good hand. So don't worry about that.
No,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
on top of that, Guru School have a policy of on-job support. So whenever you're going to join as an project manager, I'll be there to help you out if you have any problem. Like if nowadays what happen, if you're joining company, let's say if you join something like TCS and they send you on some oil and gas project for planning, right? So they might be using some weird tool. It happens a few times. It happened. So we have something called project support. So then what will happen? Diptesh ji will call me saying ki Ravindra, we need to learn this new tool what these guys are using. I say, okay, no problem. So I'll spend some 10-15 hours on that tool, and we'll have another meeting so that I can guide him in terms of how that tool can be implemented, how that tools can be used in day-to-day work. This is what we call on-job support, and you have these on-job support also.
Perfect.
So that you don't have to worry about any new tools learning as well. Throughout the training, if you can understand the basics, if you can understand to explain these things in a word, I believe you are ready for the interview. And we have some interview preparation. So we have some question banks also, which is already archived and kept at a Google Drive. So you can learn those things. You can go through those things so that whenever times comes, you are completely ready for interviewing. And the way I'm looking at it, the earlier is better, because the US market will start picking up within a month or so, because they'll finish their budgeting. Now they are delayed because of this presidential lock or that legal challenges. So they couldn't have that physical policy in place, so they are a bit delayed. So I believe by February end we should be ready for interview with all those mock exam, workshop and everything. That's how the planning is right now.
Excellent. So
Okay.
basically, I am an experienced guy, but still every time there is a new challenge. So thank you so much for letting me know that for job support, because I was expecting this.
Okay. Could we start this training half an hour early, if that helps you out, Diptesh?
Sure. So better if you can start instead of 9 o'clock, better you can start 8:30 or 8. I am okay with that. If Vijay bhai is okay with that.
Yes, Vijayji. What do you think?
I think I might have challenge.
Okay, half an hour early.
Half an hour.
Better, because see, 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock it's better. Like, or 8:30 to 9 it's 9:30, or 10 o'clock is better. So we can sleep well. It's up to you.
Okay, Dipteshji, just hold on. I think we have other partners also now, so we need to check with them also. Vijayji, think it through. Okay, we'll start 9 on Saturday, because you have the next class on Saturday, right? 2nd Jan. So let's start online as regularly, and then we'll discuss at that time. Think it through. Means I can understand. See, Dipteshji is ready because his alignments are already clear in terms of what he wants. You and there are others as well. So I'll put this in a group. as I put it last time, and let's try to decide together.
Actually, Saturday
So-
we can start early, right? Because Saturday there will be no challenge, right, Vijayji? For this Saturday at least.
Yeah, for this Saturday, I think there should not be any challenge.
We can
do
start
at
very
8:30.
early, like instead of 8 o'clock, we can start 7 o'clock. That will be better. So even it is 2 hours or 2.5 hours, it's a great. We can learn more.
It's too early in India.
Oh, really? Oh, sorry.
Because
I did not know that.
9 o'clock is 7:30 my time. I can
I
start
know.
6:30, no problem. But see,
Yeah, so 6:30 is fine. Like, so 8:30 is fine for, sorry,
8 o'clock. That's right.
8 o'clock is fine. So we'll start 8
No,
o'clock.
I wouldn't be able to say right now anything. But I think for me, 9 will work best because
No,
8:30
this is
there are some things.
coming Saturday he's talking about.
This Saturday only.
Yeah.
Yeah, this Saturday we can do 8:30.
We start half an hour early.
Yeah.
Because what happens, Ravindraji, even I am not comfortable with the 8 o'clock timings because it would be very early for me and
Right.
it's very cold over here. So for this Saturday, it would be your class, so it's okay for me. Like,
Okay.
it's okay if you guys want to start early, but
Sure.
after that, it will be difficult for me.
Yeah, no
Okay,
problem.
let,
Richaji,
let,
we can
let me do one
understand.
thing. Let me do one thing. Let me put this thing in a group. So let me check with the group if we can start half an hour early at least for this
Please,
Saturday.
please.
We can do that.
That will be great
And
because that will be great.
Sure, definitely. Diptesh, we are here to help. But we need to work all together, right? So that's
No
also another thing which you need to keep in mind.
Majority wins.
Exactly. So please don't worry. Let me do one thing. Let me try to put in a group and we'll take it up from there. So let's keep half an hour early, so that we can complete earlier.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
So
Vijayji,
is it
thank you
going to
so
be
much for
from 8:30
understanding and
to?
appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. 8:30 to what? 10:30 or
10:30, yes.
10? How is it?
Yeah, 8:30 to 10:30 to our class. That'll be much better,
Okay.
right? So let me
Excellent.
plan it out that way, and then we throughout the class we will discuss it again.
Thank you
Okay?
so much. Thank you
If
so
we
much.
have too much problem, we can go back to our 9 to 11 thing. No, not
Yeah.
at all issue.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. You have a good night and happy new year. Enjoy.
You too.
Yeah.
I
Thank
think
you so
New
much,
Year has been
all.
started for you guys, right?
Yeah,
We are
it's
already
already
in
started.
new
Oh, okay.
We are
we are
already into 2021.
21.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you so
Bye.
much.
Take care.
દીપ્તેશજી
Yeah.
so તમે ગુજરાતી છે
Gujarati chu, huh?
उतना ही आता है मुझे
Even I was in Girgaon, Chani Road, Thakurdwar. So yes, I know Gujarati bit thoda.
How about you, Vijayji?
Yeah.
I'm Maharashtrian.
So,
He's from Andheri.
तुझा नाव
I'm
का
from
है,
Girgaon.
right? Like that, right?
माझं बरोबर
Okay.
Sure, chalo. Thanks, man. Take care.
Okay,
Happy
thank
New
you
Year
very
to
much.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye bye. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you
Yeah,
as well.
bye.